Proud of our team's effort. It's hard to lose. It takes a toll on all of us. Apologize to the Raider fans and just assure you that we'll keep working.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to State of the Nation, the Athletics Raiders podcast. Jimmy Durkin here at the Oakland Coliseum. I will be joined shortly by Vic Tafur. And while we let Vic worry about writing his story, we're going to run down the game a little bit and play some of our post-game audio. Obviously, the Raiders, another loss here. They fall to 1-8 with a 20-6 loss to the Los Angeles Chargers. And, it wasn't a game. Obviously, the second straight game without scoring a touchdown. Not pretty here. A lot of people will remember the 4th and 5 screenplay where Carr throws it at the feet. Obviously, a lot of criticism heading toward Carr for that play. I look at it, and there wasn't a whole lot else that he can do, and I know that's his defense of it. And, maybe he tries to get creative. There wasn't really a whole lot that can be done, and that's not a play that ultimately decided this game, but certainly a play that, people were talking about, and obviously John Gruden talked about it, and Carr talked about it.
Hey, we tried for a big play. It was a play designed for man-to-man. We were trying to generate a pick for our halfback, and credit San Diego, they made a great play. We were looking for a big play in that situation, and the Chargers smelled it out. So I take credit for that play call there. Yeah, I'll have to see what happened. Obviously, the play was designed for Jalen Richard. I don't know from where I was standing exactly how much pressure there was, but it looked like Ingram was beating down on him. That was one play in the football game among others that cost us today.
We had a play designed for Jalen versus their coverage, and they just covered it well. I wish I had a better answer for you, but they did. And stuff happens. No, with the look they gave us, Jalen's the guy. We've seen it on film, work against them a whole bunch of times. We just didn't get it. We just didn't get it. I would have definitely got sacked by 54, but I wish absolutely that, yes, we could have had something different to pick that first down up. It hurt, but yeah.
After all of that from Derek, Vic jumped in to ask, wouldn't it have been better to just find a way to just throw the ball up for grabs, essentially? At least give yourself a chance at somebody making a play.
Well, I wish I could tell you all about that play, but no, not in that case. There's literally, it's Jalen. And the coverage they're playing, everything, the way we design it, is Jalen. I wish there was something else I could have done. I don't want to lose. And so, yeah, obviously it sucks, and we'll talk about that this week. But no, we had it designed for Jalen. They covered it.
And as Carr was speaking there, I think reporters kind of gathered a little bit of a sense that maybe wasn't quite the same upbeat guy that he normally is after the game. And so he was asked about that. And very interesting quote here from Carr where he indicates that there was something else. He wasn't going to say what, but there was something else that was bothering him a little bit.
No, I think something happened that just frustrated me. Deep down, I'm good, I promise. I promise. Something happened that it just kind of bugged me, and had nothing to do with me, and I'm not going to tell you. So
we'll talk a little bit more about that as once Vic joins the show. I definitely have a theory as to what that was. You've probably seen my tweet out there, kind of what I happened to see in the locker room, and so we'll talk a little bit more about that once Vic joins the show. But back to Gruden, and Gruden, you heard the opening quote, and where he praised the effort, and again here he praises the toughness of this team.
This will be a year that a lot of us will never forget, and it's painful. It's really hard. It's painful. And, it's going to be hard to sleep again, hard to get up in the morning, but we're going to keep working hard, and this will be the foundation that this program leans on: mental toughness, physical toughness, doing everything you can in the eye of adversity. And I know it sounds corny to some people, but that's the grit and the toughness that this organization was built on, and that's what we're going to continue to strive for.
There's more from Gruden here as he talks about the future and what he hopes is a bright future and what this team does have to play for over the final 7 games.
We're just going to keep working hard, and we're just going to keep practicing hard, preparing as hard as we can, keep developing the players that are here, and hopefully it translates into wins. But we got a lot to play for. We got 7 weeks to spend with these players. Some of these guys are getting better and better. And the future, I think, is something we'll talk about later. But right now it's hard to lose. But we are seeing some progress in our young players, and some of these veteran guys are giving us everything they have, and I'm proud of them.
And finally, we do have to bring up the one bright spot today. Johnny Townsend, the rookie punter, the much maligned rookie punter, had a big day. He averaged 3 punts that went over 50 yards, something that they've been desperately needing to see out of him. He goes 162 yards on the 3 punts, a career long of 57, and that's not even really the highlight of his day. The highlight of his day, a fake punt that he runs for 42 yards on. And, I know Gruden has talked a lot about how good he is, how good he's been at practice, and maybe he just needed a day like this to get his confidence going.
I've always said that, I really believe in that kid. The fake punt, you see, he might be one of our fastest players. He's a tremendous athlete. I thought he, took his medicine for a while, like a lot of us, but he's going to be a really good punter, I believe, for us. No, I was one of the few good calls maybe that I did make today. The look was there. Bisaccia made that call. Rich Bisaccia, the special teams coach, always has something in the bag to use, and I thought that was the best time to use it right off the get-go.
All right, and now we will bring on Vic Tafur. And Vic, what do you think of this one? I know what you wrote. You wrote about the big 4th and 5 play, a play that I think you can certainly argue didn't decide the game, but was probably kind of a play that was emblematic of just what we saw out here today.
Yeah, not only that, I think it's also it just shows you what Derek's gone through all year long. I think his decision-making process has not been good. I think there were players who early on Gruden say he was trying to do too much, or players who wasn't trying to do enough. I think he's had issues with the protection. He's been sacked a lot of hits. I think it's definitely taken a toll. I think in that play, I know he said that he had nothing else he could have done, but there has to be.
You're just giving up if otherwise.
Yeah, and he kind of, I think he was trying to say that it was not a great play call. I guess it was a pick play for Jalen Richard, and I guess Jalen was covered. And I guess there was no second option.
No second option.
So and even then, though, I watched the replay several times, and Ingram definitely was bearing down on him. But when he spikes the ball or grounds it, whatever, he's still got 2 yards of space. And then also there's another guy, I can't pronounce his name, but a linebacker for the Chargers coming from the right side. But there's still time to do something. Could have tried to outrun Ingram, or maybe he could spin back around to the left, or even throw it. Like I asked him afterwards, why not? Isn't throwing it up for grabs a better option than that? And he's like, no, it's not.
Even if it's a 10%, a 5% chance of a completion, it's better than 0.
Yeah, and Gruden wouldn't really talk about it. Gruden still has to watch the film tonight and before he can talk about it. But he won't say anything. He's at a point now where John just pretty much praises the effort after every game. He's proud of his players. This is the 5th straight game they've lost by 14 or more points. It's a franchise record, and 6 would be an NFL record. But he's proud of the effort. These guys are apparently fighting hard for him, he thinks. And
if they lose by 2 touchdowns to Arizona, that would be really bad.
But
I can't doubt it. Can't put it past him.
And I guess there was effort today. The game was close for a while. This is going to sound like I'm being negative, which people will be shocked at. But I thought the Chargers came in flat. The Chargers obviously are 7-2 now. I think they came in like this would be a cakewalk, and they kind of stuffed through the first quarter. They kind of did enough. They got up 17-3 in the third quarter early on. And they kind of packed it in. They kind of that's enough points. And they were right. 17 was more than enough. So I don't know if I can really praise the effort, on the Raiders' part. But, I just, they're 1-8, and there's very few bright spots.
If we want to talk the 4th and 5 play for offensively, that kind of play symbolized the whole game. Defensively, I think if we wanted to pick one play out there that kind of highlighted what they, and I'll talk about it. I thought defensively there was, they played a little bit hard there. Some of the young guys. But if we want to talk about the one play that really kind of showed a lot about this game, it was the pass to Melvin Gordon and just a terrible attempt to tackle by Garyon Conley. And then Reggie Nelson, he didn't really put much into it at all. That was pretty ugly.
If you could do like a little air caption over Reggie's head, like you can play him saying, "Oh crap!" Once Gordon was past Conley, I think Reggie realized he had no shot. And it's sad because he should have a shot if you're only 4 yards away from a guy. But Gordon was moving and Reggie was flat-footed and couldn't even move quick enough to kind of even throw his body in that direction. So I mean, the Conley thing, I mean, that's been a big problem. Not only getting off blocks, but tackling's been a serious issue for him. And I think that's why he hasn't played at times this year. And even today, there was a stretch where they brought in Rashawn Melvin for Conley, which
shocker, right?
I mean, he's in the doghouse. So obviously that shows you what they're thinking about Garrett Conley's play. If a guy they've pretty much written off, you know what, man? We know what we talked about, and we don't like you, but get in there. I can't watch much more Garrett. I need a break from Garrett. So I just think for a guy who's your first-round pick last year, and the coaches have tried to be patient, say the right things, but clearly not a guy I would say is locked in their vision. That's the phrase this week that Gunther and Gruden threw around, was our vision and our guys, what you see for the future. I can't imagine that Conley's too high on the list of guys that have written down in bold letters for next year.
Yeah, going back to Derek Carr a little bit, I think I was talking with somebody earlier. I mean, this is going to be. I know we've kind of gone with the theory that he'll have next year to be evaluated and decide. And the more I think about it, they have 3 first-round picks next year. Obviously, everybody knows that. Kind of think they're going to need to make that decision, over these next 7 games, because when you have those 3 first-round picks, I think if you can decide by the end of this year that Derek's not the guy, then you're going to have to use one of those 3 first-rounders on a quarterback.
Or you can sign a veteran quarterback and buy some more time. I just know that, like we talked all season long about this, like what can the season mean for this team going forward? And the biggest thing was Gruden and Carr forming a connection. Yeah. At this point, I was talking about maybe he could improve, that can get better the last half of the year. But now I'm kind of thinking, God, you don't want to hurt his trade value too much. I mean, the more you keep putting him out there and plays like that, I think other teams will be like, what's wrong with Derek Carr? Yeah. So I think the more people ask what's wrong with Carr, what price you can get on the trade market. I think you just, I know Gruden will say, yeah, he's my guy, I love him, he's the guy for the future. What else can he say? Those things don't mean very much. But you just have to wonder, for a team going through a complete rebuild, can you really pay a guy the money they're paying him if he's making plays like that and he's not winning you games and he's not making guys around him better? I hate to bash on Derek for that one play, but there's a lot of question marks before that. I just think you have to wonder, does he make guys better? And I'm not sure he does. Does he make plays, under duress? And he used to. I'm not sure he does anymore. So I think there's a lot going on in his head. He says he's confident. He said it today, I have faith. I have no doubt this will get better. There's got to be some doubt. I don't believe that. I
mean, and when you consider they can save, $15 million, I think, in cap space by, if you're another team that's considering trading for him, if you were convinced that the Raiders have moved on from him and the Raiders can't find a trade they want, I mean, I don't. It would be shocking to see them just cut him, but
I can't see that.
I can't see it either. But
I'll say that, like, the few weeks, when we have Sundays off, I've watched all the other games.
Yeah, there are a lot of bad. Matt Barkley played Josh McCown. Yeah, that was a starting quarterback matchup this week.
Exactly. And Carr's still young enough, has enough good things. Like Bruce Irvin had nothing on tape all year long, but he was definitely in demand because of what he did in the past. I'm sure that guys look at Carr's past film and say, you know what, or even the first half of the Rams game this year, and say, you know what, that guy can still be our guy. So I just think that, who knows, but I just think we're going in the wrong direction here with him and this team and where he fits in as far as the future goes.
Kind of a strange moment a little bit from the post game is when he was his first few questions that he was asked after the game, and I played this clip earlier, you could tell he was just kind of not in his same mood, and you thought, okay, they just lost. He's finally building up some frustration. And what he said, as we played earlier, is that there was something that just happened that really bugged him. And we saw in the locker room, as I tweeted earlier, there was a veteran that was kind of going around, looked like maybe he was saying some goodbyes, kind of going around giving guys hugs. Kind of the word I'm hearing now, I think you're hearing it too, that is in our eyes, it looked like, okay, maybe this is a guy that's telling people he's retiring. Now, kind of hearing that's maybe not the case. So, reason we're not going to say who it is until anything concrete comes out about it. But
after battle in the locker room, things are said that people back away from, and who knows what's going to happen. But definitely, guys are not in a good space. And we'll talk about the guys who tried hard, but clearly there's a pattern of guys who either with Roger Scamatti already retired. Yeah. There are guys who are checking out. I mean, Bruce Irvin leaves, and the first thing he does, his first practice for the Falcons, is scream, "I'm free, I'm free." So there's definitely an undercut of veteran discontent on this team for the last month. I think Jared Cook, I don't know what happened to him today, but definitely wasn't himself. He was fighting other players. He was shoving Frosty Rucker in the sidelines after a drop, and clearly not in a good place himself. He left
Yeah, a lot of veterans were gone quickly from this game.
Yeah, Jared's one of the guys who usually sticks around and talks to you. He was gone quick, like maybe he didn't even shower. So I just think you see that like today they're home and they're trying to at least reward their home fans with some kind of decent performance. But as this goes on, the losses pile up. This is only going to get worse.
Yeah, I mean it's and it's a weird spot because I know that I think a lot of fans have kind of just thrown the towel in on this season and are like, fine, we're whatever, we're good with losing because we want that number one pick. But I mean, you can't take that attitude, can't infiltrate the locker room. I mean, these guys can't come in here and just say, oh yeah, we're happy we're going to lose because it's going to give us a higher pick next year.
No, it's a rough spot to be in. I mean, again, I think the Chargers are flat, and they still. That's the thing. If you look at their schedule, people say like, "Oh, well, they'll get a win somewhere because somebody will come in flat." You know what? Teams will come in flat and still beat the Raiders. I think that. I think next week is pretty much it. If they want to win a game this year, next week is it. So I just think we'll see how important that is to these guys. But yeah, I mean, looking at let's turn the page a little bit. Look at guys who played well, I guess, or guys bright spots.
Yep.
These guys who are future pieces that like Mo Hurst had a sack.
Yep.
Nice effort in the play. He definitely was a sack from effort because he got beat once, came back and kept with the play and got it. And I think Johnny Townsend's another bright spot. We've all been hard on Johnny all year long, but today not only was he making some nice booming punts, but showed off the speed.
Yeah, the 42-yard fake punt. That was something else, and it was. I went a little bit nuts in the press box there because I had obviously, as you guys might know, on the Friday show I predicted the Raiders would score a touchdown on the opening drive, and so there they go, they're fourth down, and I look at Vic and I'm like, hey, this drive isn't over. This drive isn't over.
You were vested.
I was vested. I let out my first clap ever in the Raiders press box.
You did more than clap, man. When he took off running, you were cheering. You were jumping up and down. You were like,
I did one clap and I said, Vic.
People thought you were like had him on your fantasy team for rushing yards. But I think one stat service timed him at 20 miles an hour.
Yeah,
it's pretty fast. So I mean, maybe that's a new wrinkle for this team. Maybe the fake punch will be a go-to play for them. But so it's good for him. He's had a rough year. I think Gruden stuck with him, and maybe he can turn around. So he's definitely a guy. Well, the bright spots we got besides those two guys.
Well, I mean, defensively, we looked at this one stat that was 6 quarterback hits.
Yeah, that's
6 quarterback hits. This has been a team that we know the sack today by Mo Hurst, only their 8th on the year as a team, and so to hit the quarterback 6 times, that's progress a little bit.
Yeah, I had 3 the last 2 weeks combined, so definitely. I think Shalik Calhoun showed some.
He had a tackle for loss.
Showed some burst.
He followed it up with an offside a couple plays later. Yeah.
There were some bad offside penalties, but. Yeah, I mean, this is his shot. I mean, Fadal Brown was inactive. I think that maybe he had his shot and it's over with. And now this is Shalik Calhoun's time. And still don't know if he's big enough or powerful enough to get to the quarterback and make sacks. He definitely is in the preseason. I'm not sure if he is in the regular season, but he showed today he has some nice athletic ability on that one play he stopped the run. So, I mean, is he a piece going forward? I mean, who knows? But he's got a shot now to prove it.
Carl Joseph had a couple big hits. I mean, we saw a little bit of the big hitter that we had been billed when
he also whiffed badly on a tackle, which killed him. But you're right, that big hit on Melvin Gordon was something that they thought they were going to get when they drafted him in the first round. And if he can do that, if he can start making those kind of hits, that's definitely something to build on for him. But just not enough. Still he's got a ways to go.
Yeah, Nicholas Morrow made a couple plays. He had a near interception when he got his hands on that Phillip Rivers third down pass.
I like him blitzing. I think he showed he got almost
he had a quarterback hit too.
Yeah, I get the question again. You look at the season as a whole. All these veterans have gotten time at the expense of young guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole Derek Johnson thing.
Yeah,
and they should have known pretty early on it wasn't going to work. And not playing Morrow at all the first half of the year, definitely questionable. I'm not saying he's great, but at least he has upside, which is what you have to be looking for with this team.
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot of upside, but those are another positive. Doug Martin, he ran the ball well.
He ran some nice catches. Well. I mean, I think he had 11 carries for 50 yards in the first half. I think again the Chargers realized that there's not much else in his offense. They kind of focused on him second half, but if they can get some balance going, he's good enough to keep them honest. So I just think he needs more help. But, I think he's definitely shown what Gruden said. You can see the juice. He's got some juice left on his legs. So that's one of Gruden's few good moves this year, I would say.
One thing that's going to be tough going forward for Derek Carr, as we talk about how important it is for them to find something with him, is receiving corps. Took a hit today. Jordy Nelson dealt with a quad injury, and Martavis Bryant a knee injury that sure sounds like it could be season-ending from the tone that John
Gruden definitely was pretty somber about it, and I think that looks like this is kind of some kind of knee strain. But and Nelson had the quad. He came back in afterwards, but I mean, he hasn't been a factor at all even before that. So
it's all about Brandon LaFell.
Yeah, man, if you're a fantasy football owner, I guess that's the guy you're going to be targeting is Brandon LaFell.
I just don't think you're targeting anybody on this Raiders team right now.
I thought it was Jared Cook. I told people we have this thing we answer on our site. We have a fantasy website for Athletic, and they keep asking me questions every week, and they ask me about it. And I said, you know what, Jared Cook's the guy. He's the only guy you can really draft or sign him, pick up on this team. But I'm not sure that's true anymore. I think LaFell may be the number one option.
I think there's probably no options on this team. There's nobody that you can rely on consistently, and I mean that, and you look at another issue today for Derek Carr. I mean, the offensive line. I don't think Kelechi Osemele is very healthy out there. I would hope he's not because
he's not.
He's getting his butt kicked pretty good.
Yeah, playing hurt just doesn't help anybody in this situation. And I think even Colton Miller's hit the big knee brace. And think about that. We talked about that 4th and 5 play with Derek, and we're all going to blame Derek for it. But also, those 2 tackles in that play just did Olay. Those guys were through in a heartbeat. Carr never had a chance to really find the guy he wanted to find, and he didn't improvise either. But, you got to do a better job on 4th and 5. You can't just let 2 guys run right by you. So I think both he and Parker have a ways to go. And who knows, man? I think again, this is a big. Colton Miller's they're definitely set with him. He's the guy. Whatever happens. But Brandon Parker is pretty much playing for a job for next year. I think. He's a 3rd round pick, but he's got to show more than he has so far. They really, I think, have a spot locked down for next year.
We talk about the 4th and 5 play. We do have to talk about another 4th down play. I spoke about how I had predicted that first drive touchdown and nearly delivered. They get all the way. You were
cheering for the 4th and 1 jet sweep to Dwayne Harris.
Yeah, Dwayne Harris jet sweep on 4th and. I don't know about that call.
Yeah, I'll say this though. Watching the replay again, the call, whatever. It's not a great call, but really the blocking is what killed him there. Because. Both Miller and Osemele blocked the same guy. And then on the outside, far on the outside, Cook and LaFell blocked the same guy. So that's 4 on 2, 2 guys running free.
One of them, Derwin James.
They're waiting on him. Dwayne Harris had no chance at all in that play, which if he had a chance, I don't know if he could score. But again, if you're going to question the call, I'd question Dwayne Harris.
Dwayne Harris.
If I had to rank all the guys, nothing against Dwayne Harris, but I had to rank all the guys on offense who I want with the ball on 4th and 1, he's not in my top 5. You know what I mean? Be in my top 10. I might run Jordy Nelson on that play if I ran into him, but he just doesn't have enough experience as you're carrying the ball. He hasn't shown a nose for the ends. I don't know, man. I just think you're really grasping at straws with that play, and it was a waste. They wasted Townsend's big moment, man. They wasted the big fake punt.
The one, as John Gruden put it, and we played that clip earlier, the one good play call he had today was the fake punt to Johnny Townsend.
Wasn't that play for Johnny Townsend, the jet sweep? Bring in Townsend. People probably give it away, though. Bring Townsend in for the jet sweep. People are like, hey, jet sweep, Townsend. But it's not good. That was I don't know if they had a chance to win this game, but definitely the air went out of the balloon at that moment. The fans, I think, at that point, oh, man. That's going to cost us.
Yeah, I feel bad for these fans coming out here. It's just not fun right now. They're not a fun team to watch.
No, I mentioned this in my story, but they booed most of the second half. Every time the team of the offense had the ball second half, the fans booed. But on that last play, the 4th and 5 play, it wasn't the last play, but the 4th and 5 play where he grounded it, there was no booing. They were in shock. It was like this place was dead. What? They're like, what the heck just happened? And they couldn't even muster up enough energy to boo. I just can't imagine paying all this money to come out. The NFL games are not cheap, and I feel bad for the fans who do all this, and they support the team, they tailgate, they wear the jersey, they paint their face black, they yell their lungs out, and they're just not being rewarded. And I don't know if the Raiders really care. I think the Raiders are definitely in this for next. I don't even know if next year. They're in it for 2020. So I think it's really it sucks. It sucks for Raider fans, and whatever.
Well, we get to get ready for Arizona next week. That's
it's a big one.
Big one. If they lose that one, the 1-15 clock is definitely ticking.
Yeah, I would imagine the defense won't have. I mean, who knows? But the defense seemed like it took a step up today, which probably means that it's due for a step back next week. I just don't have.
David Johnson had a big game for Arizona today against Kansas City.
Fantasy owners are going to be happy next week. So, but again, the team can't score points. So I mean, it's what's that now? It's the last 9 quarters have been outscored 75-9. Haven't scored a touchdown in 136 minutes. So the defense, say what you want, and we ripped it to shreds and Gunther, but it's not a lot of talent on that side of the ball.
Yeah.
All the money is on the offensive side of the ball. So 9 points is unacceptable. I just don't know if I know they mentioned the injuries and stuff, but still, I mean, you got to do better. If you're John Gruden, Derek Carr, 9 points in 2 games, not going to cut it.
Not going to cut it. All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for this week's show, and we will talk to you guys again later in the week.
Peace.